Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Untold Stories of Solar. Thank you guys so much for sticking in with us. We're a little bit behind. That happens sometimes. But thank you guys so much for sticking in with us. We're here, and I'm your host, Marquez Gaines, and my sidekick, my partner in crime, is back with me, the one and only Miss Carolyn Griffey.
What's going on, everybody? Carolyn Griffey here coming at you. Listen. You guys don't know it, what I've gone through this week, nothing toward me away being on the shows. These men, these amazing men who not only are they legends, not only have we just been anticipating them coming, but we are so excited because this has been an honor for us to be able to have this family. You know, it's the world. I know you guys see them a different way, and they're legends to us as well. These are our uncles. And we are just honored that they would even be on the show, come talk to us. You guys, please give an amazing welcome.
Okay, so just make sure you guys are tuned in with us. Turn your TVs up, turn your phones up. It's going to be a great episode today. On our last episode, we had songwriter, producer, and drummer Mr. Wardell Potts. But nothing compares to the group that's with us today. The flagship artists of Solar Records. The guys that gave me my start in this industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Grammy nominated. They sit on 3 platinum albums, 6 gold albums, more top 20 hits than anybody can count. Y'all give it up for them. And I think I hear somebody over there talking about Dave Scott. One and only, the Whisper!
Hey, what's up, you guys?
What's up, guys?
Thank you so much, man.
Oh man, my uncles are in the building, y'all. I'm so happy you guys are here with us. Thank you so much for actually accepting the invitation. We appreciate it.
No big thing at all. We wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Yeah, we had a little mishap last week, but we got it worked out, got everything worked out, got you guys back in the building. I'm happy. Like I always say, I would not be in this industry. I would not be anywhere close to this industry if it wasn't for you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for always loving me. Thank you for rocking with me. Specifically to Uncle Walt, thank you for putting up with my little retarded questions.
Hey, you gotta be asked.
All right. Thank you guys so much. So we're happy to have you guys here. Thank you so much for being here. So really quickly, let's just get into it. We got a lot to cover. We don't have a lot of time, but we got a lot to cover. Because I could be wrong, but I think you guys' career is like 55 years long at this point, right?
54, yeah, it's gonna be 55. But Marquez, can I start off by saying this? I want to believe it. I can't believe I'm sitting here. The lady that you called your sidekick, we knew this lady before she could walk. And I'm serious.
Before she was born.
We knew it before she was born, but after she was born, she was running around making a whole lot of noise.
Tearing up stuff.
But who I really want to talk about is her mom. I mean, we're going to get into this, I'm sure, in many different facets. But her mother, the great Carrie Lucas, happens to be one of the greatest artists in my estimation, and I'm sure with the listeners that ever lived. So we're just so honored to be sitting here today with her daughter. And we're going to talk about her and her father and Solar, which is the greatest experience that ever happened to the history. So I just wanted to open it up with that.
Absolutely.
That means so much. Before we get into it, Uncle Walt, and I told Mark West, it's so crazy. And I have to excuse myself early because I'm usually very strong. But yesterday marked 11 years that my dad left this earth, and it was a very hard day for me. And that's why today's even more special because I told them every time I see you guys are like almost, I don't want to say the last reminders. Of course, I've got my wonderful siblings. When I see you guys, I see him. I mean, literally, it's like when I was younger, when you guys were always together. You guys were at the house. We were at your house. We were always together. So, it means so much. It's like, even though we don't see each other, it's like, it's always, and I don't mean to say this as a son, a love thing. Because, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, it's like, I really probably will not make you do this without my eyelashes.
We expect that, right? I hear you.
All right, y'all. So let's get right into it. 54 years in the business, and a lot of people want to know, technically, how did the Whispers get started? How did that happen?
That all started way back in the years. Here in Los Angeles, there was this guy, his name was Hunter Hancock, and he would go to the different high schools and hold talent shows. And he came to our high school, which was Jordan High School in Watt. And if he would win the talent show, you would go on with him to other high schools and participate in talent shows. And that's how we really did. We were at a Hunter Hancock talent show, and Scotty and I were there as the Scott twins. And Nicholas and Marcus and another guy named Clarence Bradford, they were there as the Eden Trio. And we both were participating to see who would win the first prize that night. But while we were waiting to go on, we started singing backstage. And this is in the early 60s when Temptations, that's who we wanted to be like, OJs, everybody else. But we liked what we heard as a five-sing because it was the three of them and the two of us. And so we said, well, look, after this talent show, why don't we just put this up together, get us a five-man singing group? And that's exactly what we did, and that's how the Whispers were born. Not with a name, but the five guys came together that would later be known as the Whispers.
Wow. And you guys came out of Jordan High School, right?
That's right, Jordan High School in Watts.
In Watts. And that ain't no, for those of you that don't know what Watts is, that is not over there. Don't let the sweet mouth fool you, those tough brothers.
Oh yeah, we came from Watts, we called it our Beverly Hills of Los Angeles, but that was our Watts.
Right. Okay, so my next question to you guys is, so when you guys started out, it was the two twins, Scotty and Walter, along with Nicholas Caldwell, Marcus Hudson, and Gordy Hart.
Yes.
So, what happened to Gordy? Because Gordy just kind of disappeared. One time we saw you on Soul Train, and it was just four.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, Gordy, we were doing a gig at a place called Maverick's Flat here in Los Angeles. And Gordy left that night going home, and on the freeway, he ran into a pole on the freeway, and he damaged, of all things, his larynx. And it took him out to where he really, for months, he really couldn't talk. But once it really cleared up, it was pretty obvious that he wasn't going to be able to sing anymore. And that's how he left the group. And so after that, he really wasn't out good for it. As the group was going to get you replaced for it. But Gordy was the guy that actually took us to the first record label that we ever went to. This is before we met Big Griffey and Don P. Gordy, in fact, he was a part of a group called the Spurs. He quit them, came into the Whispers because Clarence Bradford was left. And we went and signed with the group, with a record label called Dore Records in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. But it was Gordy that took us there.
Okay. And LaBelle, how did you get into the group?
Oh man, I don't know how much time you have for this one, but I'll give you the abbreviated one. I was actually introduced to the Whispers by a young lady named Cookie, and we were working at an insurance company, and I happened to be doing some filing and started singing while I was filing because, you know, it's such a boring job. I said, well, I hated the job, so I just was singing and putting these files back. And she heard me. She said, "Wow, you ever falsetto?" She says, we started talking about groups. She said, "I said, well, what's some of your favorite groups?" She said, "All time, hands down, the Whispers." And I said, "The Whispers," and I hadn't really heard of them at the time. You know, so she says, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna take you to one of their performances. So they came into town and they were playing at a place called the Palladium. You guys remember that place? Yeah. So I went with her to the show and I saw these guys, 5 guys come out in these jumpsuits, all green jumpsuits. You know, they had to be in shape because you could not wear those green jumpsuits. And they came out there and danced and performed. What really got me was at the end of it, they started doing acrobats. They were doing flips and cartwheels and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I said, I gotta become friends or meet these guys in person. So, you know, time went on. I went to a couple more performances and things like that. And me and Scotty became friends. And so when Scotty would come into town, I would pick him up, you know, because he lived up in the Bay Area, and we'd hang out all day long. We'd talk about cars, because he has a love for cars too. So I pick him up, take him where you need to go. At the end of the day, man, I'll call you later when I pick him up and then take him back to the airport. And that went on for a while. But one guy, I was taking him back to the airport. And not even thinking, I heard you say earlier, you just start singing. You don't even think you're singing, you just start singing. Well, some song came on one of those falsetto songs I love. I don't know if it was Delphines or Miracles or whatever. And I just started singing. And before I know it, he said, "Man, I didn't know you could sing like that." Man, falsetto was beautiful. What he didn't know is that I had bought every record I could find of theirs. And I had been studying his falsetto to make sure that if I ever got to weigh in, I would be ready. So I just kept on studying his voice, and lo and behold, I went to a performance, and at Maverick's Flat, Gordy wasn't there. And when I saw that, I was like, hallelujah. But this was like an opportunity for me. So, you know, and then Scotty wound up intervening in the rest of it. He went to Nick. He said, "I think I got the guy to replace Gordy. You know, what do you think?" He said, "Well, let me take him in the room and see if he can dance." Took me in that room. I guess I had 2 left feet, as far as he's concerned, because if you've seen our routine, that's a whole nother style of dancing. Yeah, a whole nother style of dancing. So I could do the colloquial stuff, but his stuff was like intricate, off time, on time, in between time. So he went back to Scotty and said, "Nah, he ain't gonna do this dance routine, man." This guy, he ain't gonna make it. I know you're your partner, but he ain't gonna make it. He had the voice, but he didn't make a proposition with Scotty. Scotty said, he fought with me. Scotty said, "He is the guy, man. I'm telling you, he's clean cut. He don't drink, he don't get high, he don't smoke, he don't nothing. Wears V-neck sweaters, the Ivy League dude." So he said, "Okay, I'll take him on if you let me do a national audition," which they did. They didn't find anybody that they felt was compatible, because a lot of being in the group is chemistry as well. And so finally they said, "Okay, I'll work with him." And it took me a year working with Nick in rehearsal halls, in a lot of hotels we rehearsed. And I rehearsed off stage I actually rehearsed with him in hotel rooms in different places for a year. But I sang backstage. So they put a mic up beside backstage, and I would do all my parts, that needed to be done for the background. But nobody saw me until one night at Ruthie Inn. I'm walking in, so cool, thinking I'm going to my spot backstage, and they said, "Oh, you're going on tonight." And I darn near had a cardiac arrest that night. But here it is, 47 years later. You know, history for me has been made. by being with a group like this. Yeah, you the baby at 47 years. 54.
I mean, what kind of legacy is that when you say the baby at 47 years? That's
like a baby though.
Hey, Jeffrey Daniel is still calling me baby girl, and I'm 51.
There you go. It is. That's what I'm talking about.
Alright, so then take us to the next step of that story when you guys finally, because up to that time, you guys have pretty much been a regional act. You guys were performing in other areas, but at that time, you guys pretty much had regional success.
That's very true.
So can you take us to that time of when you started to go national and that time of when you actually met the legendary Mr. Dick Griffin?
Okay, well, you're absolutely right. We were regional. We were being managed by Chinese guys by the name of Lee King. But one night I went to a Curtis Mayfield concert at Roxy. And after the concert was over, my wife and I, we were leaving, and this guy walked up to me, and he looked like a football player. He was very built. And he walked up and he said, listen, my name is Dick Griffin, and I've been watching you guys. And I'm going to tell you something. He said, you guys are good. I think you can be better than Gladys Knight and Hiss. However, if you want to reach that stage, I need to be the one managing it. That's what Dick Griffin said to me. Confidence, huh? Dick Griffin, you know Dick Griffin, you know how he said. I said, oh, I like to meet the guys. And about 3 weeks later, we met in my cousin's garage with Dick Griffin. And we agreed for him to become our manager, and that had to be in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. And at that time, Dick Griffin was without question the biggest black promoter of entertainment in the country. He was promoting acts like, I'm talking about Stevie Wonder, Luther. If they wanted to get a concert, it was Dick that promoted it.
James Brown.
The biggest black acts in the country. But basically, his dream, which came true, I'm so glad it came true before he died. His dream was to really create his own label with artists, and he was kind of emulating, Gary. Gary going in Motown, but he very much wanted to have his own label and be able to have his artists and be able to have a reason to be around music. He was very musical. He came up, his background was gospel, jazz, R&B. So he was right at home. But, if you saw Dick, you would think that Dick had anything to do with music. He carried himself like an athlete, but he loved music. And basically, we went around the country, I guess, for 3 years, touring every venue that we could find. Dick, our manager, and him being the black promoter that he was. And that's how he came up with the Whistle Life.
Wow.
What was it like, guys? Of course, I was so little. There's so much I know, and I have to be actually told. I'm always just so in awe of Marquez and his knowledge of everything. Solar. I always call him so funny. We've always talked about doing this, but before I always called him like the boss freaking kid child. Because, we call each other MG, CG. I mean, he thinks like him. Some things that come out of his mouth sometimes are just funny. But and everybody that knew my dad knew he was not an easy guy. Of course, I love him because he's my dad, but, he had his way. What was it like? And like I say, this is family, no hard feelings. We all know the truth and everything else. It's all love with us. But what was it like? I'll say in the early years working with him. That's the first part of the question.
Well, to me, what I remember about Dick that was very deceiving, first of all, like Walt said, he was very musical. But if you looked at him, you wouldn't see that Dick was probably one of the best A&R men that we've ever been around. But how we can attest to that is when you look at basically the major hits that the Whisper had, Dick knew he was very good at understanding what other people would like. Sometimes, we were guilty of knowing too much, and that gets in the way of commercialism. Dick didn't have that problem. Dick think like the average person on the street. I mean, and he would say, man, he would always give us one. He said, no, he wanted one song, he gave us the rest. And he said, but I gotta have one on the album. You do whatever you want, but I want to have one. And he was dead on with the one because those songs became huge. Sometimes we would disagree because, like I said, we got into the artistic end of it. And, you know, we like things that wasn't as commercial. Dick understood commercialism better than anybody that I ever knew.
You already know, Carolyn. I mean, the roster itself, just the roster that was on Solar Records, that takes talent to find that, you know. I mean, when he had the audition for Howard Hewitt at his house, because Howard told me a story, and he knew Howard was the person, you know, that he wanted, you know, with Shalimar at that time, and then, you know, other acts that he brought on. He could find talent and know, okay, I can see where they can go, what I can build them to. So not only was his A&R, but his eye for talent was impeccable as well.
You know, I have to agree. And that's one thing. You know, it's almost surreal at this point in my life because, as all of you know, especially the twins know, because how close I was with Katrina and our kid. As a child, I wanted to run so far away from the association because I just didn't want the association. You grow up, you want to be your own person, you want to be this. Now I find myself not being able to sleep because the fight of the legacy and the voice is something that, you know, until your voice, until his voice, and we talk about this all the time, is heard, that's the most important thing because Dick Rickey, whatever people say about him, they can never take away is the fact that he was gifted for this. We all know with my grandmother, Mama Nita, and you know that her family prayer went into a lot of the things. There are people that are good at their jobs, and then there are people that are anointed. And we all know that you don't even have to be perfect for God to choose you for something. You know, and none of us are perfect. But the crazy thing is, and I can attest to that also, I was an executive and I was an artist on Solar. And we bumped heads all the time because everything he wanted to have the songs that he picked, I hate. But not even, the deal even let me pick a song, pick a single, and LA was like, man, I ain't never let you pick another song because the artist here is different from the producer here, from, you know, so, I mean, like to say, with the visionary. So I have to agree, and I really thank you guys because it always comes out of my mouth. It always comes out of Marquez's mouth. But to hear it from you guys, you know, you guys are the foundation of this whole legacy. The foundation, almost like the founding fathers of, I mean, the beginning and of greatness, and you're still doing it. So, I mean, it's a little overwhelming, so you don't get my emotion in it. What, I guess, you know, I know that there were good times and there were hard times, but what was, for each one of you, what was a fond memory that you had of my dad?
Everybody get all kinds of different. I remember that your dad always. It's funny when you were a part of Solar Records or a part of Dick Rickey's life. He would actually really think of you as family. I mean, I remember the countless trips I've taken to Vegas to see Gladys Knight and the Pips, and he would say, you know, just bring you and your wives. Don't worry about nothing else. He'd have the hotel rooms. He'd have everything ready for you. When you get there, you wouldn't be able to buy nothing ever when you were with him. And then when you came to his house, he had a barbecue at his house. Every artist was at his house having fun because it was like you're there with Uncle Griff, you know, and so you'd be in the pool. It was a family-oriented thing. So I remember being in that pool and we were playing volleyball. And you know your dad was like, he looked like a football player. And I said,
he was a football player, actually.
There you go. And I took my little skinny behind and said, okay, I'm going to swat this ball. By the time I looked around, but I thought I was at this end of the pool, Next time I looked around, I was at the other end of the pool because he tossed me that damn far. I said, you trying to hurt your arms or what?
It's funny that you brought up the pool because, of course, I couldn't let this interview go by without telling the whole world that the only reason I know how to swim, and by the way, I am one of the best swimmers to date, is because my Aunt Jan was right, taught me how to swim. My father was about to just throw me in the pool and said, I'm going to throw you out there and just let you swim back. And Jan was like, won't you do that to that baby? To the side, she started working with me. She said, you better do something with it. If you don't work it, I'm throwing her in the pool.
She got to swim over to the side on her own.
Those are memories, those fond memories I have with you guys and during that time.
Well, I got one that I can share with, actually I told the listeners about this, but we were playing the Apollo Theater in New York. And we were all worried about it. When you played the Apollo Theater, they used to have a talent night where if you were doing your act and the crowd didn't like you, a hook would come out and pull you off the stage.
Right.
So we were there with silver, but what people didn't know, Dick Griffey wanted to go. At that time, the U.S. Open was in Forest Hills. And Dick said, whoa, look, man, I want you to come go to Forest Hills with me. I'll get you back in time. I said, Dick, there's no way we can make it to Forest Hills and get back to the Apollo Theater in time for me to go. He said, trust me, you got on the subway. This is the most exciting thing that I've ever done is we got on the subway going. Got on it all, and then you get on the subway in New York, you meet every kind of person that you've ever. It was not until I was scared to death. Another was talking to somebody, anyway, we made it to Forest Hills, watched one match, and then we took a cab, and just got back to the Apollo Theater in time. I said, Dick Griffey, I said, Dick, you the boss. What they said? I made it back. He said, no, I'll take care of it. That was my episode with Dick Griffey. That was one of many.
Awesome.
All right, you guys. So when you guys, shortly after, a couple of years after you guys started to be managed by Dick Griffey, him and Don Cornelius entered a partnership, and Dick became the talent booker for Soul Train. And before we get into that, I just want to say, I told Lavelle this, and Lavelle fell out when I told her this a couple months ago. But for those of you who don't know, I want this to go on record. The Whispers hold the record for the most appearances on Soul Train. So the Whispers have appeared on Soul Train 23 times. Yeah. So for that, I just want to say congratulations to that. But
you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
You know Scotty.
Oh, yeah. And that doesn't think, I don't know if you know this, Marquez, but that doesn't include, I think we did the show in Chicago 3 times. Before he ever came to Los Angeles. Because our first time on Soul Train was in Chicago, was in a little room about the size of one of my bathrooms now. He was doing his thing before. And I think we did that show 2 or 3 times. Yeah, but that was in the initial meeting, actually. They knew each other, but they really met in Chicago before he got out here, and they decided to form this partnership, which became, as you probably know, Soul Train Records. That's what it was before it became Solar. But it all started with Don's TV show in Chicago, which he later came to California. Everybody knows Soul Train was taken from Hollywood.
Absolutely. So what was it like? You guys were the first artists on Soul Train. What was it like being the very first artist signed to Soul Train Records?
Well, it was really kind of exciting because what it really meant is that we had the good luck to run into A, the biggest black promoter in the business, and B, the biggest guy on television that was getting exposure to television, he happened to be Don Cornelius. Both of these men were in our eyesight, and we had the luxury of being with both of them. And I say this all the time. Had Dick Griffey and Don Cornelius stuck together, they probably would have formed the biggest black corporation that ever lived. Because what you had in these two individuals were two guys that were extremely intelligent. They both knew what they wanted to do. One started out in television. Dick started out as a promoter wanting to one day have his own label. And just the combination of both of them, you around both of them, you could see immediately these were two highly intelligent guys, both extremely independent. And it's just a shame that it really couldn't last, because had it lasted, and we say this all the time, I don't know what it would have gone to. It would have gone to the stratosphere. Because these two men combined, I don't know anybody that I've met since both of them are gone that are as intelligent as either one of them.
I'm sorry. I'd like to say something kind of on the back end of that. I want to say, because you guys are the only ones who know the truth. Even though they went their separate ways and even if they had differences of opinions in business, still had a mad respect for them.
Oh, no question.
They still had a love for one another. Even when they didn't agree.
Yeah.
And I think what you said, I never even thought about, but you're absolutely right. Because someone asked me the other day, well, how can you go ahead and do Soul Train Records? I said, Soul Train Records, that is something that belongs to our family, because Solar Records, it is Soul Train Records.
That's exactly right.
The name was just changed, so I mean, I know that we just come to a lot of the legal thing. So it's just amazing how people can rewrite their own history. This is the reason for this. God bless my friends for finally just taking the lead on it, because you know what? Everybody else can tell their story. They don't even have to tell our part of the story. That is why we're here. Because out of your mouth, they may not believe what we say. They can't dispute what you say. Because you guys are a part of that.
No question.
Oh, well. Come on.
No, you're right. There's nothing I can say about that. You know, I mean, we were really blessed to be with those. Like you said, sometimes when you have two geniuses together, you know, and they're strong in their personality and their will for certain things, that can wind up being a hindrance, because, you know, to be honest with you, somebody's got to take a humble role. Somebody's got to have some humility there. And, you know, with two personalities like, you know, Don Cornelius, who wants things his way, and Dick Griffey, who you can't tell him his way ain't right, you know, so that is always going to wind up being a clash. Mike Wall said it would have been tremendous, but I never saw that ever being something that was going to work, because they were so headstrong, and each one of them thought they were just as talented as the other. Probably some of them probably said more talented than him. So, you know, but that's just part of the nature of who, you know, when you have guys like that. So it was just wonderful. The benefit, though, for us is that your father loved Walter. He loved Walter. I mean, you know, they had a special relationship, and Scotty had the same type of special relationship with Don Cornelius. So it was a win-win for us, because he didn't do anything else for any of the other ones. If he did it for Walt, we were going to benefit from it. And that is the reason why we're on the show, because he had so much love for Scotty, so I didn't care where it came from, as long as we benefited from it. So it was really a great thing.
And you know what, though? Let me add this, though. Now, think about this. Both of these men had been successful at what they do before they met each other.
Exactly.
Individually, I mean, Dick Griffey at that time was a pioneer. I mean, both of them were really providing a career for black artists. Dick as a black promoter, and Don Cornelius as a host of the television show. Because at that time, I'll say this to this day, Don Cornelius provided television coverage for acts that you never heard of.
You never would have seen.
You know, Dick Clark, in order to get with Dick Clark, you had to have a national kind of hit Don Cornelius provided black people with television with acts that they would never hear and made those acts become household names. Dick Griffin promoted every one of them. He did a concert for Stevie Wonder before Stevie was Stevie Wonder. And James Brown, Temptation. So these two men, that's why I said had they stuck together, there would have been nothing to compete because they both were so good at what they did. But the Griffins benefited from both. So they ended up deciding, look, I'm going into television, and Dick said, look, I'm going into my motion business. I'm going to go and do what I always wanted to do with my label. And that's what he did.
Absolutely. And so that brings us to the next part of the show that I want to ask you guys about. Have you guys had the opportunity to check out the show American Soul on BET?
No, I haven't either.
Well, we heard some things because we had a discussion about it, and a lot of it has been taken and it's been fictionalized, and they pretty much written Dick Griffey out of the entire show.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Then they did bring into a character that did portray him, but they didn't call him by his name. They gave him a different name, and believe it or not, they made the character a punk.
Which we know, different was a whole other thing. That is one of them.
And the show has been somewhat successful. They've done 2 seasons. I believe they're starting to work on 3rd. But they did this show without the full consent of the Cornelius family or the Griffin family. The story is completely twisted, mangled, tangled, and everything else. And up until this point, they've had about, I want to say about 15 to 16 different performing artists on the show. And there's no conversation about portraying the Whispers on the show. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, to be honest with you, I can tell you right now, I've never watched it, so, I really don't have any, I've heard of it and I've heard about it, but when I think I watched one episode, and it just didn't pass the smell test for me. So the fact that we haven't been portrayed on there, I guess you never missed anything that you never had. So, I don't even really have one feeling about it. But if it's inaccurate, I wouldn't want to be a part of anything that's being portrayed in the wrong way. So, but the twins probably have maybe another concept of that.
I believe guilty. I've never heard of the show, never watched it, so I have no knowledge about who's being portrayed. Until you said that, I never heard of it. So honestly, I couldn't speak on it. I can't imagine them bringing on a group to portray the Whispers. That would be kind of funny.
And call them something else.
I've never watched the show, but if I saw Dick Griffin being portrayed, not then, people are gay, I ain't got nothing wrong with that, but if you knew Dick Griffin, it was definitely not that. So I would have, oh yeah. I've never seen it, so I couldn't really speak on it.
Well, we just kind of wanted to clear the air on that. We've been asking a lot of people to make their comments on it. It's been a hot button issue over at Solar Records. It's been a hot button issue with the Griffin family. And it's going to continue to be a hot button issue as we soldier forward. We're trying to get the real story out and the truth out.
Right.
But you know what, Marquez? Like I said earlier, and we talked about this, like I just went on around it. I was upset. I'll be honest. I was upset. I felt really disrespected for the sake of my father and you guys and everybody involved. But at the same time, I did realize that everything is perspective. We can, like I said, speak because now we have a platform. Their platform could have watered down whatever it is and told their own version of it still. So, you know what? Sometimes we thank God for unanswered prayer. And you know what?
Now I'm going to watch it because I got to speak for myself. I'm going to brought it up because I want to see how these portrayals are being done. I'm just interested. I mean, it's not my show. There's nothing I can do about it. I definitely want to see for myself if it's accurate. I hope it is, because it should be.
Yeah. Well, it's not. So, with that being said, we're going to head on over to talking about.
How long is this show going on? I mean,
second season here. Second season going in their third season. Huh?
You said you watched it?
I watched the episode of it. That's about it. But
I couldn't get through it.
I couldn't get through it either. You know, it's just, you know, the portrayal, like you said, like Marcus said, they're portraying Dick Griffey as, you know, Dick Griffey wasn't scared of anything. She said punk, not like a gay punk. He just wasn't, not that kind of punk. Like, you ain't gonna punk Dick Griffey or talk about Griffey. You know, grabbing you with the strong hand. That the first portrayed, like, you know, he's like, you know, he's a wolf, you know, so.
Let me ask this question. Is Tony Cornelius involved in any kind of way?
Yes, he is.
Because I would think, I haven't seen the show, but you say that Dick Griffey has been portrayed, that in itself, how you can do Soul Train, I'm just going to say this without even seeing the show. How you can do anything with Soul Train without mentioning Dick Griffey or the Whispers is baffling to me.
You know what? I shouldn't say this, Scotty, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to make it quick because I know we have a lot of things covered. When my father was ill, and God bless him, you guys got a chance. You guys are the only ones that got a chance to see him. I sat with him, and we were watching a thing on TV, and it was basically them talking about the history of Soul Train and the Soul Train record collection, and they showed a lot of the history, they showed a lot of the music, they showed a lot of the different everything, and even though cognitively, he was kind of, not, and trust me, he was with it, but you know, he wasn't as astute as normally he would be. When he sat, and I watched his face when he saw Soul Train, he just lit up. And he had a little glasses on, and I said, he's on the tip of his nose. And he was sitting there, and he was watching it, and I just watched his face. Just the smile and the light just left out of his face. And I tell you, I sat there that day, and this is before American Soul came out. I was angry for him. Because at that point in his life, everything that he had done, everyone who he had put on, every bit of work, I mean, this man is, you know, he didn't know what at the end of his life. To see that, it just ripped my stomach. I mean, clear open. I watched him. And it almost, and he was so strong even then, he didn't say anything. He just said, hey, Pete, you know, and he changed the channel. You want to watch? And he says something, you know, something else. But I could see the look on his face of just he felt disrespected. You saw that. And that was painful. So that's one of the reasons why I will fight and go so hard. Because I never ever want to feel that, thinking about that. And that's why right now this means so much. The story, and just to kind of go back on the Tony Cornelius thing, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. The powers that be knew exactly what they were doing. They chose to do what they wanted to do for financial gain.
Okay.
They chose, and in this day, I won't ever repeat who said it, that they saw a paycheck and they forgot about everybody else. It didn't mean anything.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So, as we end that chapter, as hard as that is, you know, let's move on to something lighter, something more mainstream. Guys, can you talk about your first album on Solar, which happened to be Headlines, which is the real first successful album on Solar? Talk about that, how it felt.
Well, first album that we did, you know, Dick was kind of like a member of the group. You know, he owned and ran the company, but Dick was more musical than probably anybody there. So every tune that went on the album was completely discussed. What the whole idea of what the single was going to be, and the headlights. I think the album, that's where we're all standing together.
Yes, with the lady playing, with the old
It's on the screen right now. You know,
man. Dick had basically he said, fellas, we were there by the Rolls Royce, and he had, I forgot her name. Anyway, she opened up that cup. And he got all of the smiles that he wanted to get to that photo.
Real, don't get out.
He said, I know how to make y'all look like I want you to look. But when she opened up that coat, boy,
you really did it under there?
She had on very, very little.
Very, very thin.
You know, you guys with them thongs and she was definitely, it was like I said, that smile was real from us.
Wow, so there you have it, guys. Okay, you heard it straight from the Whisperers, the Headlight album, with the woman with the big knee open and her leg popped up on the
Listen to this way. He said you had to go to the dentist today. Every cavity that was in every Whisper's mouth that night you saw.
Oh, that's deep.
Boy, that was so much fun. I tell you. That was just a good episode of how music was made in Solar. And that's the one thing I remember with, remember Dana Myers and these people that maybe my audience don't know anything about it. But you was a member of Leon too. And this happened to be a time when people were coming, Leon Silvers was really coming into his own as a producer. And basically, I'm trying to think, Leon was really inspired by Norman Whitfield. Right. But if you remember, when he started producing Shalimar, and he had his own group Dynasty, the music was flowing like you could not believe.
Right.
Lakeside, they came a little later, because they were a little bit younger. But the creativity that was running was all over Solar at that time was simply incredible. That's the story that needs to be told about Solar Records. I mean, Dick was simple, and Dick was a guy that went all over the United States. He was on a plane every day, it seemed like, but he found his roots and assembled this label, which later, his first was Soul Train, but later became Solar.
Right.
Talking about the creativity that was at Solar. Right? It was amazing. I mean, everybody was in there crying, it was just a great time.
You know something? I'm sorry to interrupt real quick because I'm looking at the feed and Lisa's on here and she did bring up, and we should skip. You know what I want to say, God bless, talking about the Soul Train game, being on your label, Make on Soul Train Records. So we just, want to kind of shout out to Terry Brown, rest his soul.
What a beautiful brother.
I love Terry. Spent so much time with him.
Great time. Yeah. Dick and Don saw him and Gerald. Don, he pictured himself as the perfect guy to determine who should be in what group. But he saw the Brown brothers, but he went crazy. He said, "No, we got to get these two guys. If they can sing, and it just so happens that they both could really, really sing."
Oh man, right.
And the next thing we knew, the Soul Train gang was doing their thing. It was really something to see.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So 1979. 1979 is the year that the Whispers became the multi-platinum Whispers. 1979, you guys released the self-titled album, Whispers, in December of 79, with the lead single Lady followed by that monster hit, And the Beat Goes On. Can we talk about that time period? What did it feel like during that time?
Let me tell you what I remember about 1979. It's real simple for me because I can honestly say that's when life changed completely. It's almost like the night of 1979 was one thing, but the next morning, it was like, hey, what happened? We looked around And we went from, we were doing all right to like, excuse me? You know, one of them things. When And the Beat Goes On hit, it hit with such a, and his one was amazing. You talk about A&R. The night we finished the record, and you know how you do the playback in the studio and everybody goes crazy?
Yeah.
We knew then, we all said, this is a hit record. Well, this just was no doubt in nobody's mind out. Just before that, we had I think it was Olivia, and we were close. You know, and then, but we didn't get no cigar. But once we did, And the Beat Goes On, I'll make it real simple. From 1980 to 1987, everything we recorded from that point on was either gold or platinum.
Absolutely.
And we just could not believe. I mean, first of all, we were in Shreveport, Louisiana one night doing a show. And Dick and some people came in, Clyde, what's up? And they stopped the show. Of course, Nick immediately gets pissed off because, you know, Nick was a professional. And now we got to do all this momentum back up there. They want to bring out the mayor. That's what we thought. We looked around, Clyde, Watson, Dick Griffey, and two other people had all gold records in their hands. We looking at each other and saying, "This is for us." You know, we wanted to make. We weren't sure it was really. There was another group in Europe that was also called the Whispers. We said, "Wait, I wonder if it's them." No, it was us. They gave us all gold records. Wow. If I'm not mistaken, was it 2 or 3 months later the record went? There was gold. That happened so fast.
3 months later,
it was platinum. And about 3 months later after that, it was a legitimately double platinum album. 2 million sales. It happened so quick. Like Scotty said, it changed our lives. Because we went from, you know, we were doing ballads and known for ballads, but we had no idea that this up-tempo would change our lives forever. It was a stone cold hit. Mm-hmm. And you know, we came with Lady, but then lo and behold, to Say Yes was never released as a single, but went crazy. And it probably was more popular than that beat and Lady. It changed the whole life of the listeners. That was the biggest hit to this day, because 7 years later, after we had Rocksteady, most people thought that Rocksteady was bigger than that beat. That's not true. And That Beat was the biggest song that the Whispers ever had. Straight ahead, double platinum. Rocksteady went 1,000,006, almost 1,000,008, almost double, but not quite. And The Beat was the biggest song that we ever had.
Yeah, Leon Silvers for that. Leon Silvers, Leon Silvers was probably, like you said, that we were kind of like the foundation of Solar Records, the beginning of it. But Leon Silvers was a real big intricate part of that, because he wrote every artist just about there. And then Babyface in LA came in later. But without Leon Silvers, man, I mean, we got to give him all the props in the world, you know.
But you guys came before.
Right.
You know, I'm going to say this about Leon Silvers, too. I can honestly say he is the one producer that made me understand what a real producer was. Now, what I mean by that, a lot of good singers that have been produced, for some reason, and I used to be guilty of this still on that Leon, they seem to think because they sing so well that they can't be produced. A guy who comes along who just sings all right and he's telling them something, their attitude is like, well, I hear what you're saying, but you need to learn how to sing first. You telling me this and that. That's just the worst attitude. What I learned about Leon had little phrases and little things, moves that he did that was so important. I could physically do. I could sing anything. But he knew when that's kind of say, cool. Just that one word, cool. That was it. Had to be going on. I wondered when he first told me, I said, what the hell are you talking about? When he first told me that, I said, it's the same thing we did at Scott. We almost got into a fist fight because LaBelle, Decree, and Nixon Caldwell. I told both of them, I said, man, listen, I'm not singing. Hank Scotty ain't singing, number one. Nick said, just do what he asks. I said, man, I'm not singing no Hank Scotty. I'm not going to do it. So I'm getting ready to get in my car and go home. Listen, Scotty, you just, all right, just do it and you'll see. Best thing that when I heard the record, the finished product, and Hank Scotty, what that mean? I went to them and I said, you'll never have no more art than I need. I don't care if you got a name. If you come in and you wrote and produced a song, I want to do what that producer says because that's the name about how well you sing. It's about can you hear what's commercial at the time and can you capture the moment. Leon captured the moment better than anybody. Well, he proved it with And the Beat Goes On. And And you talk about the boy, he was in his mind. He was way ahead of the game.
But now you know what? I'm going to say this real quick too, because you guys set the tone for me, and it's not a big deal because I never got hit like you guys did. But even though the Real Thing didn't do what it should have done, I still think it was a hit song. The Real Thing was a great song. I was so excited to work with you. Although I was nervous, but I'll tell you something. I have watched you all. I've been in the studio with you. I've been in the studio with Shalimar. I've been in the studio with Mom. All through the years, been in the studio watching Leon and how he was. I've seen Leon leaving out the vocals and crying because they couldn't deal with him. He wasn't as bad as Rest Soul, Norman Whitfield.
Yeah, that's where he got it from.
But he was confident. Like you said, you do it. So it was such an honor to me when I got a chance to actually work with Leon, even though being close to him still wasn't saying was working. He stopped. It didn't take us long to do our song. He looked at me and said, wow. He said, you get it. I said, Leon, I've been listening to you all my life. I've been watching you all my life, he said. And it kind of amazed him, even though my mother and I have totally different resonance and tones. He said, you are a lot like your mom. I mean, I was proud. That was a proud moment. And I knew not to argue with him. I knew whatever he asked for, just to give it to him because I knew everything that John experienced with him.
Your youthfulness actually helped you because we argued a lot while we were in the studio.
What we learned to realize about Leon, before he ever came to the studio that night, Leon knew exactly what he wanted to do with the song. I'm talking about from the drums to the bass. He knew everything. And if you just listen to him, put your ego aside, leave it at the door, as he would say, and go with him, the rest is history. Because he knew what he wanted. He knew what he wanted to do. And all you got to do today is listen to his music, and you have to admit that he's one of the greatest R&B producers that ever lived.
Right. And far before they even had drum machines. We were in the studio, get on his knees and just hit the bass drum. Just do that with one hand, and then he would go and okay, I'm gonna beat the snare, and then he'd go and then do the cymbals. I mean, I've never seen a person that actually, like he didn't have that benefit of a drum machine, so he became his own drum machine. But from the beginning to the end, like Walt said, he knew exactly what he wanted to hear musically, and he knew exactly what he wanted to hear vocally, and if you took and checked your ego at the door, which some people was harder to do than others, but what you just listened to him, history. There you have history.
No question.
Alright, on that album, 1979, the Wisdom Self-Titled album, you guys had Song with Donnie on there.
Yes.
That became a gold single. How did that song come about?
Well, let me start off by saying, once again, the great Carrie Lucas listening to Donnie Hathaway's song called This Christmas. And she actually wrote the lyrics with the melody of This Christmas. And that became a song for Donnie. But Dick Griffin, God bless him, here again, when I'm talking about the way he thought. We met Donny Hathaway in Chicago a few years earlier. We were, in those days, we would go to a club and work Thursday through Sunday. Well, we happened to get to this club in Chicago on a Sunday, and we got to see Donny Hathaway's closing night. We never heard anything like that. Scotty and I were so mesmerized by hearing Donny Hathaway's voice. But we never forgot it, and we really kind of tried to pattern ourselves after Donny Hathaway. So Dick suggested, he said, man, why don't we create a scholarship called the Donny Hathaway Scholarship Fund? And we gave away 3 scholarships in the name of Donny Hathaway as a result of doing actually the song for Donny, which was written by Kerry Lucas. When Kerry came and brought that song to us, oh my God, you're talking about emotional. See, I'm talking about your mom now. People don't know. Kerry Lucas was a great vocalist, but she was even a better writer. He wrote those lyrics to a song for Donny. The only one that didn't cry, and you couldn't make Dick cry, but the rest of them we could boo. Those lyrics were so poignant. I mean, listen to the song right now. Just think about it. I said, Kerry, I got to take my hat off to you. These are the most beautiful lyrics I've ever heard in my life. But that's how the song came about.
I'm sorry, my question.
No, that's you.
With that being said, and I know this, I already know the answer to this question. What was it like working with your mom? My mom. I know you guys, and it's nothing against, like I say, my Scotty, Bell, it's all love. But I don't know if it's always this thing. You, and my mom, it's like, we click. We click. Here's what me and Kerry went through. When Don and Dick were together, in the studio, they both would come in the studio, and they both had an opinion on how they think the song should be sung. Right.
What they never realized was Kerry in particular. You didn't need the guy Kerry. Anyway, Kerry was the greatest vocalist that you will ever hear in life. But as you know, Kerry, your mom is so nice. She would listen to both of them. She listened to Don and Dick. It's about how she should sing this song. But in the final analysis, it was her rendition. The Dick and Don, neither one had nothing to do with it. They just thought it. But Kerry would let them think that they had something to do with it. Smart. When we did Hello Strangers, and we would go to about these guys in the background, Dick and Don actually thought they produced that.
You have to think about it. For her to be married to my dad, she developed the art of suggesting things but making them think it was his idea.
She was so great at that. They both thought that they had produced a miracle, and they didn't realize that Kerry Lucas produced the whole thing. But Kerry and I had a special relationship, and to this day we have a special relationship. Because Kerry and your mom, as well as being a great vocalist, she loved harmony. She liked to harmonize. And she loved, that's where you get it from. Kerry used the song, and the first thing Kerry listened to was at the top, was at the bottom of the melody. And she would make it her business. She could do both. I said, Kerry, let's do this. You sing the top first, and then we'll come back and you do the bottom. This girl would sing, I mean, it just was effortless. She didn't have like reading it out. Just like reading, I mean, she was a natural. If it was fun to Kerry, we had fun. There was no challenge.
It was effortless.
It was effortless. That's exactly right. Absolutely.
So with that, I'll make it real quick. So with you saying that, and how magical it is, and at this point in life where we are, what are the odds of you guys doing just a memory together?
Oh man, we would love to. That is Tennessee. Yes, people have always, we would love to.
You heard him, Marquez.
I got it on tape.
But I tell you, we're probably in our vicinity. George Howard, of all people, he's been wanting us to do this for the last 3 years. Just gotta go back and redo Just a Minute. It was written by Grady. But again, see, you asked what was it like singing with your mother. the three of us in particular, what we all love was phrasing. Yeah. Your mother can phrase. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She was
learned from the best.
Yeah, she knew her phrasing and her tone. So we would be having fun. You know, Dick and Donna, they would be saying, well, sing along like this. First of all, she can sing it any way you want it. Her tone and her phrasing, and Grady knew that. When he wrote Just a Memory, if you think about it, you listen to that song. Every line that was given to the three of us was perfect for the way we sang. Yeah. It's just perfect for the way we sang. So between Grady, your mom, and the two of us, never. We would have Grady Wilkins start so Grady said, man, we done died and gone there. Where did we find Jerry Lucas? We just loved the way Jerry sang. I mean, Jerry could not do, any vocal that Jerry did, Grady was just crazy about. You just loved it.
Well, she's waiting, and when we talked about it, she would after she said, I'd like to get with my brother to do it one more time. Oh, man, no, you didn't make it. So, I would love to see that.
All right, you guys. So, after we got through with the Whispers album, you guys became a household name. Double platinum group at the time. Grammy nominated. We're not going to talk about some Whispers Grammy, but I feel like that was foolish.
Story within itself, yeah.
Right, we talking about that. You guys went on the Solar Galaxy Star Tour. The Whispers, Shalimar, Lakeside, and Dynasty happened to be the biggest selling tour of all time until Jackson victory.
That's exactly right.
And I got a little surprise for you guys. So you guys remember I told you make sure you have your monitor because I want you guys to see some things. Okay, I want you guys to check out this video that I have of you guys in 1980 at the amphitheater in California. Oh,
what was that?
Look at that.
Not mine.
Not mine. We done lost my picture.
Well, we see you.
I see you. Yeah, I see you.
Well, let me see what's up.
That's okay. So, here we go. We're going to play the video for you guys. I want to check this out.
Wait, we can't see you guys at all.
Uh-oh.
We good. We just still see y'all. You guys are
We want to see that video though, so it looks like we may not be able to.
You won't be able to see the video on there anyway, Scotty.
Oh, I got you.
That's the second model for. So we're going to play this video. This is 1980 in Concord, California at Concord Amphitheater. And it's on the Solar Galaxy Star Tour. It's Let's Go All the Way.
Wow.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. I got to see this video, my man. You're looking at it now. Hey, man. Oh, okay. So you should see it on your
You gotta go to YouTube, Scotty. Look at that right now. You make me cry, but I can't leak that high anymore.
You guys, that was a clip from 1980 in Compton, California.
It brings back so many memories of Steve Martin and see Nick. I mean, it's just God. And we're about this big. So.
Hey, you know, really quickly before the commercial break, I just want to say that I've watched you guys perform for years, and you guys have been in the business for 54 years, and I can honestly say that during this time, I might get in a little trouble with some of my other friends, but I don't care. For years, the Whispers have never quite properly received the accolades and the credit that they should. And through the years, you guys have watched counterparts, whether it was the OJs, the Pneumatics, Temptations, whoever it was, the stylistic, the list goes on and on, receive all these accolades, and you guys didn't. But the one thing that kept y'all going strong was the stage show.
Yeah, right.
And you guys know, I spent a lot of time on the road.
Right.
Y'all know, I do not lie, I don't sugarcoat. But you guys are still out here. You may not headline every night, but you should be, because y'all out here busting heads every night. How does that feel to know that you did not get, the Grammy, the American Music Award, but yet still when you come out, you're the star of the show?
Slaying it.
Well, here's how we look at it. We've been nominated for the Grammy, the American Music, didn't get it. But I tell you what we've always said, and to this day it makes us feel so good, man. We have the greatest fans in the world. There's no way you can have a 54-year legacy without that. Like you just said, right now, 54 years later, we're singing in the same key that we did 54 years ago. And our fans appreciate that. So that's really all that matters to us, because they know. They tell us what you just said. We hear that all the time. You never receive the accolade that we think you should receive. But like Nick always told us, what really matters to us, if you keep coming to see somebody for 54 years, that means they're doing something pretty good. And that's how we look at it. What's really funny is that you're right. We don't headline every night, but we headline most of the night with guys that have gotten Grammys.
That's the point I want to
They got the Grammys, but they open it for us. That's all right. As long as our fans are with us and we with them, that's all that matters, man.
And like Walt said, we'd rather be out there with our fans. I could be home looking at my Grammy and not working at all. That would really it just be a trophy in my, then I could say, oh yeah, I won this Grammy. But what keeps us alive, if I had to trade off with the Grammy or our fans, I would take our fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, y'all. That was an amazing answer. But I have to say that I've been touring around with you guys for a long time, and I know that most of your counterparts that you out there with, they hold no candle to you guys.
Absolutely not. And I have to brag because I can be. Because all I hear from my question, you understand. I'm about to bust him out. I know he tried to be cool in front of y'all, but you understand. And it's crazy because we talked about this. How are you related? Still a fan. This man was so, he called me, he was like this. I'm nervous. I'm like, nervous? You went to brothers every day.
Yeah.
But it's like, and I have to say this, because he has been on tour, and I never told him this, but I do get a little jealous hearing about the story. I'm here to say, him right now, to verify, I was on tour first. Nerves.
Yeah.
But the one said, he's sitting at that stage, and I'm sorry, I got a little emotional watching that, because
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see it because I'd have been crying. Yeah,
I mean, as a little girl, you look up and see that. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know.
Mom.
But I didn't know what this legacy would become because it was just life. It was just everyday life for us. And to watch Dad in meetings and to watch you guys going through it, whether it's negotiations or even deals that nobody liked, and you guys came and went and broke away and came back. At the end of the day, and I know we're not in this, it's not a script. It's just to be sitting here and looking at you guys. It's just, I feel so blessed. Because there's so many people that we get honored. All of you get honored each other. And when you said, this was my father's dream, he's not here. But you may not be here.
You got to see it before you die.
Yeah. The thing that we screen everywhere yet. This is the beginning of our story, and if 5 people see it and know the love and the blood, sweat, tears that went into this company, and the fact that nothing was given to anybody.
No.
You guys paved the way for all these guys out here that are doing stuff. You know, they're cheating. They're cheating. They got it easy. Y'all on the road, broken down buses. And, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes they couldn't pay for mortgages. And there were some people getting out of jail. I mean, y'all know the business. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I mean, to me, and I'm sorry, Martha, but no, it's not. I mean, it just hit me because y'all were there living. And it's everything to me. So I'm going to let y'all finish this.
Yeah, because
I close my way. Y'all finish it. I couldn't go see you because I was afraid to do this. And you know what? I'm on the web. I'm on the web and I'm allowing myself to do this, but I just have to say that I love you so much. I'm so amazingly blessed to be a part of your legacy.
No, we love you back. I think we love you back, baby. We love you back. Go ahead, my man.
And on that note, y'all, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with the last segment.
Never put on her eyelashes, put her lashes back on.
We'll be right back.
Hey you guys have loved the classic music of Solar Records from the 70s and 80s. It was truly the sound of Los Angeles that then went all around the world. Well, guess what? We now have our own radio station to celebrate that great music. And it's all created and curated by our very own songwriter and drummer extraordinaire, Mr. Wardell Potts. So check us out on SolarRecordsRadio.com. And watch us as we celebrate our classic solar artists, their timeless hits, and even some of their new music. You can also catch some great interviews with them as well. So meet us over there at Solar Records Radio, baby.
Hey, Solar fam. Spice up flavor and the look of the next event with Nola's.
What about the YouTube? What about the YouTube question?
Classic candy apples or the new candy-coated grapes, chocolate-covered strawberries, or New Orleans classic pralines. Nola's unique delights can fulfill your
Scotty,
all items available for shipment anywhere in the United States.
Give me a second.
And let them know Untold Stories of Solar.
Give me 1 second.
Hey, Solar fam. We want you guys to check this amazing new podcast out called Power Room Podcast. A brand new podcast on New Lions from the multi-platinum group SWB with her sisters in crime.
So as soon as we come back,
Join them and take on different topics that will start into interest. All from the mouths and minds of sexy, educated, seasoned women who are here to show you that as you get older, you just get better with time. Follow them on Instagram at PowerRoom_podcast and on Facebook.
Yo, what up?
Power Room Podcast. The debut date is coming soon. Check it out.
the hell?
Hey Solar fam, check out Hit the Spot Catering and Meal Plan. They're located right in the Atlanta area, and they're offering a wide selection of comfort foods like chicken pot pie, all the way to Chilean sea bass. They're all available at comfortable, affordable prices. Daily and weekly rates are available. Make sure that you check in with the owner and the chef Tim on her new show, Try It With Tim. You can catch it every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and 2 o'clock Pacific Time. Check them out and follow them on Instagram at Hit the Spot 1006. You can also visit her Facebook page, Hit the Spot 1006. For more info, or if you'd like to place an order, you can call 678-769-5594. Hit the Spot is guaranteed to definitely hit your spot.
What the
Do you want to get your product or service in the eyes of more people? Let TVE Media create a commercial for you and your brand. You will get a 30 to 60 second commercial to talk about your product or your service to increase sales. Live video, people are more likely to be engaged watching as opposed to word of mouth or reading. The time is now to act. Social media engagement is up and your product or service may be what a person might need in their life. So book your appointment today and take your product or service to the next level.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Untold Stories of Solar. We're back with the legendary Whispers, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. I mean, we're learning some real deep history from the Whispers tonight. And I'm just ecstatic that they're here with us. I'm ecstatic that they're talking. I'm ecstatic that they got a smile on their face. Yeah, it's fun. So before we go any further, I just want to go ahead and just hit on some of these YouTube comments. Just a couple of shout outs. We have Shakita Young, the owner of Lotus the Lights. You just saw her ad. She popped in and said, "You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your music." We have Jeffrey Scott, the road manager for the Manhattan featuring Gerald Austin. He came in to show love to the Whispers.
All right, man. Much love, much respect.
Yeah, definitely.
Tamora Harrison, who, believe it or not, is one of your travel agents. She just popped in and said, "Hey."
Man.
Yeah, Kevin Nelson is in the building. We also have a couple other people, Anthony Williams, Ollie Brown. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Uncle Vicky. We have a lot of people tuning in all over the world, so thank you guys so much for popping in. We definitely appreciate it. So let's keep it going. We don't have too much long to show, not too much long, but I want to hit on something a little personal real quick. So this one is Scott. So we were talking about the Soul Train days. We were talking about everything going on at Soul Train and Soul Train Records. I am under the impression, I'm not under the impression, I know it, let me stop being funny. You married a Soul Train dancer.
That's exactly right.
How did that happen? How did you meet the beautiful Marilla? How did you meet her? How did that happen?
I started watching Soul Train a few years, and one day I happened to see this young lady on Soul Train, and I really wanted to meet her. And I knew we were coming up to play Soul Train so much, I knew it was only a matter of time to get back to Soul Train. A brother by the name of Chuck, and he's still a little back today. That's out.
Carolyn, so technically Bill calls his own as Carolyn. Let's continue on with that. Go ahead, Scott, say that before.
Well, I saw Marilla on Soul Train, and the first time I saw her, to make a long story short, I feel that there's no question about that. I wanted to meet her. But Chuck, who was Don's assistant at the time, he was a good friend of mine, and I said, man, listen, I need you to do me a favor. There's a certain young lady that I want to meet. And I pointed out because Chuck was the guy that was putting the dancers on the risers, and he would decide who would do this and that. So I knew he knew her, right? So I said, when I come back to Soul Train, I want you to introduce me to this young lady. He said, okay, but the first time I went, I think she didn't show that day. So I had to wait a whole other 2-3 months to go back on Soul Train. And this time I made sure.
Okay, keep on going.
So this time I made sure that I actually got to meet her. Chuck brought her to me. And the mistake he made is he said, Scott, this young lady has been wanting to meet you. Well, that was a mistake. Marilla said, oh, no, it didn't go like and I stopped her right in her track and said, no, I know that's not working. I'm the one who wanted to meet you. He said, okay, well, let's get it straight. so I met her that day, but she never would believe this. Before all this took place, we would be out on tour, and every Saturday I didn't know about the Soul Train. I told my brother, I told the group, I told Carl Dix, I said, that's the young lady I'm going to marry. And this was long before I really got to, really meet her. And when I told her, she said, oh, I don't believe that. So I had all the guys, Bill, Nick, Carl, Dickens, they had to tell her, oh yeah, he did it because he stopped the bus. We'd be on the road, so when the bus would stop, so he could go to a phone and call you.
Well, before that, Scotty, we had our tour was predicated on getting from one place to the next place so he could get to a TV and figure out how to watch the train come on so he could watch her dance. I'm like, man, he was possessed at that time. So
it's the real truth, man. That's how I actually met my wife on Soul Train.
Wow.
To let people know, I'm actually drinking pickle juice, so I don't want people to think that drinking alcohol is pickle juice. That's it.
Okay.
This is excited, so.
Yeah, my kid.
Lavelle is drinking pickle juice. We didn't listen. This is completely uncensored, unfiltered, all we got Lavelle drinking pickle juice, careless camera won't sit still and just keep wobbling out the what she's doing.
I don't know why you have to call back on the cell phone. Look, you said it's unscripted, uncandid, right? Look.
Yeah, you gotta
sit what it is. We keep it 100.
Still though.
I don't want to be. I want to go back on the computer. I can't read anything. The show is, folks. The show must go on no matter what.
Right.
The Whistles, you guys created some of the greatest love songs that ever existed. Some of the greatest love songs that ever existed. All the way from Lady, Say Yes, Are You Going My Way, Do They Turn You On. You guys have a list of love songs that just surpass any other group as far as I'm concerned. And I know that Nicholas Caldwell wrote quite a few. The wonderful Nicholas Caldwell.
Yeah,
wrote quite a few.
Yeah.
Can you guys kind of speak about the history that you guys have with all the love songs that you guys written and recorded?
I tell you what I want to do for the fans who are watching today. I want to let them go to a song. We had an album, it's been 4 or 5 years ago. It's called For Your Ears Only. But there's a song on there I think it's very important because the song is entitled The Whispers Love You Too. That song will explain better than anything, any way I know how, to let our fans know how much we appreciate and love them. Nick wrote it, and instead of me trying to tell it to you, I was going to say to you, go online or wherever you go to find it, and listen to that song. It's simply called The Whispers Love You Too. And it will explain why we've been here as long as we have and how much we appreciate the fact that our fans have supported us all of the time.
Yeah, let me go a little bit further. I want to speak about Nicholas Caldwell because Nicholas Caldwell has to be considered the core and the basic rock on which the Whispers are built.
Yes.
Nicholas Caldwell was the guy that before we ever got started, he asked the question, guys, what do we want to be known for? What is our style? What do we stand for? And he explained to us how important that it was for us to express how much respect that we would always have for the ladies. Because we had mothers, we had sisters, we had aunts. So it was Nick's whole idea to sing. Most of the ballads that came about before and the beat in Rock Steady were ballads like Say Yes, Do They Turn You On, Are You Going My Way? But this all fell in line with what was Nick's idea of what he thought the Whispers should be. So it was funny when we got these two, we sang these mid-tempo ballads, always addressing the ladies and having respect for the ladies. And lo and behold, we never thought that the biggest song that we would ever have wouldn't be a mid-tempo or ballad, it would be an up-tempo, meaning Rock Steady and then the beat goes on. But the core of what the Whispers are made of and what we stand for, those ballads that you talk about, Marquez, those were all initiated and originated by Nicholas Caldwell. Without Nick, there would be no Whispers. That's the way I put it.
You're right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. Carol, can you hear us? I don't know. Sean thinks you can hear us.
You hear it? No.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
And you never saw. I don't know if you've seen. You never saw us because you came in later, Marquez, and you never saw Marcus perform with us, did you?
Ready for Marquez's time. Yeah.
Before. And Marcus plays such an important part of this group as well because he was like, he was the center man. He worked in between me and Nicholas for a gang of years. But there's one guy in the center that kind of we book in off of, and that guy in the center was Marcus. Marcus was just so smooth. He didn't worry about nothing. When we were all up in arms and pissed off about something, he would look at us and like say, what's wrong with her? Why are you mad? What's the problem? So he was kind of like the nucleus in that aspect. He drove Nick crazy, of course, because Nick was perfectionist. You know when you met Nick, his routines had to be a certain way. You had to move a certain way. Your hands had to be a certain place all the time. And Marcus was driving him crazy with that kind of stuff. But and I don't come from an egotistical aspect, and I don't want people to think of it that way. But as I look back on some of our videos, like the one that you showed your audience today, I don't think any group on this planet could touch us in terms of the three of us, in terms of routines, choreography, just what we do on stage. And that's not egotistical. I hope people don't take it. I'm trying to be as honest as possible. Nicholas was one of the greatest choreographers that walked this planet. And he was unique. He didn't take anything soft. That actually were doing routines, and at that time it was 5 of them. And once he saw those 5 guys, he said, "Oh, guys, we standing here just slapping on our leg and saying it's not going to work." So when I come back, we're going to have to start doing some routines. And like he does with his singing, with his songwriting, he went hard to the paint and came up with everything you see, unique steps, off time, on time. He would listen to small beats in the song, grab that and use that in his choreography. But I don't believe anybody else on this planet could touch us. That's just the truth as far as I'm concerned. And you've seen it yourself. You've seen it more so, Carolyn, because you were there.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings us to the next question, and it's probably as hard for you to answer as it is for me to ask. But what was it like having to come out on stage for the first time? without me?
Well, I cried before, but it was the first time when because we had one of our guys when Nick passed, he built this, I don't know, this video of Nick behind us, playing behind us. And I've never cried on stage ever in my life, but I just couldn't hold it back. It was like my right arm was missing, and even today, we'll never replace him, and we'll never probably bring anybody else in to work with me in that capacity. But I miss him every freaking day of the week. There's not. I don't think there's been a day yet that's gone by that I don't think of Nicholas Caldwell and what he would have said in a certain situation, because he had that calming spirit. But it was the hardest performance ever, walking on stage for the first time without him being there.
We lost Luke in 2015, and but I guess I have a different. I really feel like he's always there with us, because what we do was created by him. The way we entered the stage and the way we even this decade, the way the music is put with the listeners, this is all a creation of Nick Caldwell. So as far as I'm concerned, Nick and Marcus both are always there with it, because people ask, well, why didn't you replace the two of them? We could never do that, to be honest with you. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're right there with us. I got to the point where when we were doing the video, like Miguel said, that got to be pretty hard, because every time it would come on, if you're human, it would take something out of you, and until that portion of him went off, you had to kind of move to the next songs. And so we finally had to say, you know what, you got to bring this down, because you're going to end up doing a crying show. Because it's just hard. We've been years, all of us, since we was 15 years old. But right now, I feel like Nick's presence with us every time we go on stage, which is why I can't wait. We're in the pandemic, the virus is here. But man, I tell you, I can't wait to get back on stage to do what I think Nick would want us to be doing. And I look forward to doing that.
I agree. Unfortunately, I told my coach, you guys could come here. I couldn't, like I said, you guys are so much a part of my family, just a legacy of my family. There's a way that I've always grown up to see it, and it's an adjustment. Not just because of the stage show, because I love all of you and your families. So, this is,
we're gonna close.
When you guys left Solar, in the transition, to Capitol Records.
Yeah, we went to Capitol, and there was I don't know if you remember, but that was that's hard to talk about too, because we were kind of like free agents on the market at MCA, Arista, and we met with all of them. And Capitol ended up being the company that we really felt like could do the most for us. They were, agreeable to. We wanted to get a small production company to produce other acts, and they gave us some ability to do that. So that's why we ended up going with them. But it's funny. We went to Capitol, and when you have other people who've never tried to produce you come in and try to produce you, oh man, that's when you see that you can never get away from what you originally were.
They didn't know where you came from.
They didn't know where we came from. They didn't know what we felt. They didn't know how we felt. Right. They had the facility there, but they didn't have that ingredients that make you who you are before you got there. Mm-hmm. That's what we experienced. But all in all, it was a good experience, because what we were most interested in is that we got it started. It ended up not being that way, but we did get the opportunity to form a small production company and sign a young group. It was in its infancy, and it almost got out the ground, but as you know, Capitol ended up doing away with that whole black department. So, but had it been, what we wanted to, it would have been great, because that's what we were interested in doing.
Mm-hmm. Right, and then once you guys got over to Capitol, you guys recorded the More Tonight album. And then after that, we saw a little difference that came about. We saw the twins go out on their own and do this keeper album.
Yeah, that's what I mean by when Capitol gave us an ability to form a production company, the first thing Nick and LaBelle wanted to do was produce me and Scotty. So that's exactly what they did. Nick and LaBelle produced me and Scotty. It was called My Brother's Keeper. And basically, it was just another LP that Scotty and I only was singing on, but it was produced by Nicholas and LaBelle. Yeah, by the Whispers, basically. Two of the Whispers, let's put it like that. And it's a shame too because My Brother's Keeper, man, it was some great songs on that album, and we ran into political problems with Capitol. Capitol ended up disbanding the whole black situation. But man, I always said, had we gotten the proper distribution and people got to hear My Brother's Keeper, they would have loved it, because right now, you listen to it, some of the songs are just incredible.
Right, I think so. Really. Yep.
That's awesome. Man, it's just so amazing hearing the stories, because even though I've been here, there's a lot I miss. Which brings me to your new single. Man, and I think I told you already, I love the new single, How Long? How Long? I see you guys have the shirts on. And as you guys see, I don't have my How Long shirt on. But I will.
Definitely.
What is it like in a pandemic when all of us are kind of just segregated and kind of, the music industry at a certain point was shut down? What's it like coming out with a single and being able to be a voice in the darkness? I mean, it's really a song. The song gives light to a dark time.
Yeah. Well, what made it possible for us is the George Floyd situation, is what really brought the whole song about. We, like everybody else, would have to be home that day because of the virus, and the whole world got to see this brother with a knee in his neck. When we saw that, that's when How Long was born, because we said, to be honest with you, we were in the process of coming with new material for the Whispers, for which we hadn't done one in about 14 years. But when we saw George Floyd, we said that we need to put this to the side. We need to sing about this.
Yeah.
Because this is not the first time the Whispers have seen black people being mistreated. Back in 1965, the Watts riots, same situation. We went through that then. But when we saw George Floyd, luckily for us, our bass player, David Magic Mendez, wrote this song back in 1983.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's how long ago it was, and I think he was dealing with, what you say, LaBelle, the missile crisis?
Russian missile crisis back in the day. He wrote it for that reason.
But he sent the song to my wife, and I just happened to hear my wife and listening to it, and he sent the video and the song to Marilla. And I didn't actually see the video, I just heard the song, and I asked her, I said, what is that? She said, Magic just sent this to me, he wanted to see what I thought. I said, that's it. That's what we got to go into, because it was talking about exactly what was happening. Police brutality, black people being killed, black people dying, and it was the perfect message. So we said, hey, we got to go in and record it. Which is exactly what we did, and it was amazing because this was right during the pandemic, and we were trying to figure out how we were going to do it. We got LaBelle down there from Vegas. We first tried to get him to fly down there. He said, nope, I'm not getting on my plane.
And he could fly a helicopter.
And he could fly down there. But he said, no, I will drive down there though. So he drove to Los Angeles. We flew Magic and them out here, and believe it or not, we recorded the song in my garage.
Wow.
And the rest, you can tell how we did it, because you won't believe it. We were wearing masks and the whole 9 yards, and we still got it recorded.
Yeah. We would actually go and, because it's funny, when I got to their house, me and my brothers, I work with them, but his wife was like, where your mask at before you come up in here? So all of us had to maintain social distancing between the three of us along with his family. So I had my mask on, and they had their masks on, and they would actually go out in the garage one at a time, take their masks off, sing their lead, put the mask back in. Then Walter would go out, do the same thing, and then when I got there to do the background, I would go out to the garage, take off my mask, sing all my background parts that I had on there, and then put my mask back on. But the amazing part is that it just shows how wonderful a producer Magic is, because what he had to contend with being in that garage, we had to stop because Scotty happens to live near an airport, and the planes would go over. We'd have to stop and wait till the plane passes. Then once the plane passes, we would record a section until the next plane went over. So we did that throughout the whole thing. But it was, magic. Because you heard the product. He mixed it, mastered it, did all. Mixed it. He didn't master it, but he mixed it. And what you see, what you hear is just, to me, it's, I wouldn't even believe it came out of a garage.
But you know what? Think about it. His name is Magic. He made magic.
Yeah.
And what's weird to me, what just dropped in my spirit about how long is, it's today's Mercy, Mercy Me.
Yeah. That's what I told Magic. I told him when we asked the question, how long are we going to argue, fuss, and fight? And the first verse, when I first heard it, I said, Scotty, this is, because we pay attention to lyrics, that always means the most to us. And that first verse that he wrote, asking how long are we going to argue, how long are we going to fight, what will it take for us to change the wrong to the right? That's all I needed to hear. It reminded me, like Scotty told you, in '65, way long time ago, we had the riots. We had a song then called "It Seems Like I Gotta Do Wrong" before they
Right, yes.
So this wasn't the first time that we were able to sing what we were talking about. This was an excellent opportunity to go back and be a part of what's going on today. Because this song is asking the question, how long is this going to take place? George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, so many names, we can't even know them.
Right.
So we're asking how long are we going to have to do this? I think it's excellent for what we're going through right now. It wasn't meant to, we sing to the ladies when we have ballads, that's what we plan to do. But this song wasn't meant for that. This song was meant to make people ask the question, how long are we going to have to continue to put up with this kind of stuff for black people being mistreated?
Exactly. And that's excellent segue to black people, get your butt up. Election day, do not play. Vote, because that's the only way you're going to change. I want to hear all that crap about, well, I don't care. I don't like this. Exactly. Get your butt up, vote, because they've already gone after the Latinos and they're splitting women, mothers away from their babies and putting them in concentration camps. Who do you think gonna be next? Because we have the president, which Scotty said he calls him the devil in office. In office. And if we don't do something to change this, and we were telling all of our fans, please go take somebody to the polls with you to vote. Do whatever you have to do, because we are the majority. We can change the tide, because there's so many black people here, but we don't exercise our right to vote. And we need to vote like our lives depended on it, because it does depend on it.
Absolutely. And the sad part, they said it's 14% of black people in this world that's alive, because we don't do the census, we don't vote, get out, and vote. I love it. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Man, we've been at it for 2 hours. We got to get the whispers out of here, boy. Before we get the whispers out of here, we got a little game that we play with all of our solo artists.
Go.
And the game is called the Solar Spin. Are you fellas down to play the game? Alright, this is the grand finale of the show. This is the main thing about the show that everyone loves. So, the Solar Spin is very, very simple. It's a rapid fire situation. We're going to ask you 5 questions, and we want you guys to give us the first answer that comes to your mind. Now, don't try to be politically correct. Don't try to give us the right answer that you feel is right. Give us the answer that your instincts and that your mind, your heart, and soul Good stuff. And it's all music related. It's not personal. It's musical. So you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Starting right now. What is your favorite song you ever recorded?
For me, it's something Donnie.
You got 3 different answers. Butter for me, song for Donnie.
And the beat goes on.
All right, so we got a song for Donnie by one, beat goes on for Scotty, and actually LaBelle said Butter was their last song big single. So hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, this one is the hard one. What is your least favorite song you recorded?
No, that's easy. That's easy. We did a song. The name of the song was called "Mother for My Children,"
My children for me too.
and I hated it. This day, I hate
What
it.
made you do that song?
Well,
Gamble it out.
gamble it up. As big as they were, they gave us the worst song that could be found in the building.
That's true.
That's the easiest for me.
Alright, so that's the answer for all 3 of you.
Yeah. Well, you had on that one.
You guys told me that before. I just didn't know that all of y'all felt exactly.
We all hated that one.
Alright, this one right here is a good one. What is the song recorded by another artist on Solar that you wish you recorded?
Oh man. Well, that's easy too. That's easy too. Let me tell you why. It was not only it was written for us, it was written for us. It was a song that was two. It's really cool.
Yeah, 2 of them. What's the other one?
No, not mine was number 1.
Right.
It was written for the Whispers.
Right.
And Gerald Club was Nate Gerald. Yeah. He got the babyface in LA, and like what you were saying earlier, Carolyn, it makes all the sense in the world. That check sometimes can make all the difference. We had it one day, and the next day it was gone.
Well, a little bit deeper. They wanted Johnny Gill to have a hit. And Babyface had already committed the song to us. But when Gerald Busby heard it, he came out with the bus. And Face and Cola, they came to us and said, and we love y'all very much, but, and the rest is history. But we later went on to do My anyway.
Right.
Originally it was for us before it was ever written, before Johnny Gill ever did it.
And you know Johnny Gill was one of your biggest fans.
Oh, biggest fan. Yeah, that's what happened.
My 2 that I think that we missed out on was Roses Are Red and 2 Occasions.
Right.
Yeah, those 2.
Yeah,
That was the time you guys were Midnight Star, wasn't it?
That was Space in LA, but Wet My Whistle was Midnight Star. That's the one that we wanted to do.
And he said, my dad moved it from you guys.
Yeah, he said, y'all got enough hits.
That's what he said.
Alright, here's question number 4. What is your favorite song to perform on stage?
That's easy for me too. Love is where you find it for me.
I love that.
I love that song. I like performing it because I love the lyrics again. I love the lyrics and I love performing it. That's one of my favorite songs to do on stage.
Butter for me because of the routine that Nicholas came up with. His routine on that song was one of the best routines he ever did.
Yeah. But my favorite to perform on stage, because I get to go into so many areas, I Want to Know Your Name.
Wow. This is legendary. We got 3 different favorite songs to perform. That's legendary. I just want to say, I knew you were going to say Love Is Where You Find It, because it sliced up
every time. And you know what? Dick brought that song to us. Now you will never forget that. You will never believe this. That song was written by a guy that sings country and western from Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm not that.
He's from Nashville.
Yeah.
He's from Nashville.
I'm trying to think of the guy's name.
Was it my cousin? It wasn't Anthony
No, this is the white. I mean, he looked like a hippie.
Yeah.
Wow.
He found him, and when he came into Dick's office, I mean, like I said, and when he played with Open the Down, with playing the guitar, doing the song, we were stunned.
Yeah.
We were stunned. Now his one was beautiful. He let me produce it. I went to Oakland and got some friends of mine, James Levi, Ray Oviedo, believe it or not, Carlos Santana. That's what they were a few things in, and that's what played on the record.
Wow.
That is
That's the unknown fact right there. So Carlos Santana played on that. That is amazing.
Absolutely.
That is amazing. All right, last question, y'all. Who is your favorite writer and/or producer that you guys have ever worked with?
Oh, ever work with? Okay, wow. Probably right now for me would be Leon Silvers because of the fact that Leon put us on the map, really, with his songwriting. So I would.
It would have to be Leon Silvers for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't ignore a face. And we met these two young guys in Atlanta at a concert. And I mean, it has to be said, they're two of the best writer-producer teams that ever lived. But we came in our home with Leon Silvers when he was coming into his home.
Right.
So he would be the one for me, writer-producer.
Exactly.
Well, I got two. Number one would be Leon because Leon was the guy who enabled me to go get my little shit out of the cleaners. I got to give him props. I wish people would have got to us earlier, but this young man that we're working with now, David Magic Mendez. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a bad boy too.
Bad boy. As the old folks say, he's a bad man. Bad man. And so he would have to be in there also. I think Richard so bad because he was listening to the listeners before the listeners had any idea that he even knew who we were. Wow. And when, Nick is the one that brought us in contact with Matt. But once we heard his production, it was clear that he had been listening to us most of his life. And we're so blessed to have him now. He's our bass player. But when it comes to the production and writing skills, he's got to be up here with the rest of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, see, you guys, it wasn't that bad. They were better than anybody else. It seems stumped. Like, most people are like, oh, man.
Hey, man. Hey, my kids and Carolyn, let me say this before we get out of here. We want to thank you guys for giving us this opportunity.
Definitely.
Your platform for us to talk about our song, talk about the longevity. Carolyn goes back before, like she said, before she was born. It's such a pleasure to be here with her. But thank both of you for giving us this opportunity. We don't take this for granted. For that. We appreciate it.
We thank you so much. And that's, just here. Don't start me crying again. My last I made it through the whole show with my last
Go home and I want you to grab your mom and give her the biggest hug for Walter. That's what I want you to do for me. Yeah, Curry, I love her with all my heart. She know we all will.
we're going to do a family Zoom. That's what we're going to do. Marquez, we're going to have it off. We're going to get together with the family.
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
I do too.
All right. Well, I love you guys so much.
All right, guys. We love y'all.
We love you too. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Don't take it for granted.
No.
We love you guys so much. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you. We definitely appreciate it. For those of you that don't know, once again, the Wisdom new single, you can purchase it on all streaming platforms. The single is called How Long. And you can purchase it on all streaming platforms. You can also check out their music video. They made a culturally appropriate social distance music video. You can check that out on YouTube.
Hey, Marquez.
How Long.
Marquez, we need to remind people that we're getting ready to do a pay-per-view
Yes.
stream. Marquez is going to be shown live streaming everywhere. So check that out. Make sure you go to all the platforms and find out where it's going to be. We're going to be performing the show. It's like we do on stage, and it's going to be shown October 31st.
I can't wait. You guys, you already tag us. Your people tag us. Have Tyler, have whoever's doing, tag us and everything. We'll share it.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
Saturday, October 31st, we're doing a live streaming concert with 95.1 FM out of Chicago. You guys go on 95.1FM.com. You got tickets. Tickets have been on sale since Sunday, and I heard that they're selling pretty well.
Okay.
The world is ready for the Whispers, so make sure you check that out.
Yeah.
So you guys, make sure you follow the Whispers on social Whispers on every platform. You can check them out on Instagram at the Mighty Whispers. You can also check out the Whispers merchandise at the Whispers store. You can also go on their website, thewhisperstore.com, to get all the cool merchandise, the How Long shirts that they have on, the classic Whisper hats that I have on, the tribute shirts to Nicholas and Marcus.
You see how he's doing this right?
Yeah.
Fight. How long? We don't have to wait for my Whispers merchandise.
We're on that right away. I'll make sure that we'll get it over to you.
All right, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Untold Stories of Solar. Carolyn, what we got going on? We got our next guest this week coming up on this coming Wednesday. Who is our guest, Carolyn? Let us know.
Hold on. You know what? The drum roll went over so good last time. I have to do it again. I don't know how to do it before. Wasn't as good. Dina Andrews, she's part of our, we call it our first five. She is one of the first of the five of the initial staff of Solar Records. So we have her there. She's been on the Godfather, Black Godfather documentary. There's so many things you can pull her up, Google her. But we are so excited. So much information that we're going to get from this amazing woman. And we look forward to seeing you all here. Actually, not same time. We will be back at our regular time next week, Wednesday. 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, and he always forgets, but 7 Central.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Untold Stories of Solar. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. You can follow us. You can follow us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Untold Stories of Solar. Make sure any questions, comments, concerns, any suggestions you guys have, you can email us, untoldstoriesofsolar@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
See you next week. Thank you for tuning in to Untold Stories of Solar. You can catch us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Time on YouTube. Search Untold Stories of Solar, hit subscribe, and tell a friend. Untold Stories of Solar is brought to you by Quez Entertainment and produced in conjunction with Talkway Enterprises. Thank you so much for tuning in to Untold Stories of Solar, and remember, it ain't nothing but a love thing.